Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Friday. I hope it finds you well out there. Got some nice weather. Got my shorts back on. I'm super excited to go out and enjoy some rounds of golf. We got football playoffs, right? All kinds of stuff happening. And I will say this. I don't know how long it's going to last, but enjoy it while it does. A calm day. We got gold and silver up. The Dow, for now anyway, higher as well. We got some economic data to talk about. A ruling by the IRS on crypto. We're going to talk about that. And this already, as you guys know, right, you already have to report that as income. If you're making money, but now this has to do with if you're receiving cryptocurrencies. So stay tuned for that and a whole bunch more. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. It has been a busy week. I mean, for the last couple of months, business would have had to have sped up for it to be slow. And then all of a sudden, the floodgates have opened, people pouring into the precious metals markets once again. We've got it's a fantastic special. It's items we normally don't carry. If you want to buy physical gold at Melt, today's going to be your day, so I'll leave you in suspense there. allamericangold.com. That is the website where we put articles, videos, all that stuff. Of course, if you're following us on YouTube or Rumble, thank you so much for that as well. And Jason, everyone's talking about Zuckerberg's making this bunker building, spending millions of dollars building these bunkers, and all the billionaires and the guys that, got $50, $100, $200 million are all building these bunkers. There's a bunker for sale that it's listed on Zillow. It's 10,000 square feet in Polo, Missouri, and it can be had. This is a relatively cheap bunker. It's only 35 minutes from Kansas City. It's got 2.5-foot thick concrete walls, an EMP-resistant copper shielding, a 23,000-pound blast door. The door looks pretty cool, by the way. And it can be yours for just $2 million. I mean, so, us regular folk, I guess, you can get your own bunker for a couple million.
And why do you think, there's always a misconception I've noticed when it comes to rich people buying these bunkers. Why do you think they're buying these bunkers? Do you think it's because of nuclear war and EMPs? Do you really think that's why they're buying these? I tell you why Mark Zuckerberg wants a bunker. He sees economic and possibly after that social breakdown. He needs a bunker for us poor people that suddenly have nothing and need something. That's what they need a bunker for.
If it all hit the fan, we're going to go to Zuckerberg's house, right, and go take his stuff, right? And that's what you're right. I think that's what they're all for, right, is sooner or later they're going to figure out, wait a minute, when they've impoverished us, when the people that think they're middle class find out they really aren't middle class, the working homeless, which there's a lot of those out there. But when it really gets bad, that's, what do you eventually end up doing, right? And right? They all live behind their gates with their little guard shacks. That's not going to keep anybody out, right? That's not going to keep anybody out.
How many times have I said that we're heading towards a phase of what I call the Dark Ages? What happened when the Roman Empire fell in Europe? What do you see all over Europe? Castles. Castles built everywhere. Sort of sounds like a bunker from the Middle Ages, doesn't it?
That's the new version. Instead of building the castle up, you build the bunker down. Well, there's one out there. I don't know. A lot of those I guess maybe a former silo, something like that. That would be my guess. I don't know. I didn't read enough about it, but it's pretty cool looking. I'll say that. I mean, they did a nice job remodeling the place. So, like I said, only $2 million. I'm sure the one Zuckerberg's building is worth a lot more than that.
I'll bet the job, because they always have security staff, I bet the security gets paid pretty good. I bet that's a pretty good job, Joe. You get to guard the bunker, and then when things go bad, you get a spot in the bunker because, hey, you need the guy with the gun protecting you. Yep. There you go, right? That's how you get into a bunker without having to buy one. You got to be the guard. Got to be security, right? Go get a security guard job.
Absolutely. We did have existing home sales out. This was a December number. It wasn't great. And again, it doesn't matter, does it? The worst annualized sales of existing homes. So if you went to January, February, March, April, all the way to December, it was the worst number since 1995. And that blows me away. I'm like, how could it be worse than like 07, 08? I didn't think anybody was buying houses then. But yeah, the worst number since 1995, and I guess that's when they started keeping the record. And they may have changed the way they kept it in 1995, but the worst number since then. But guess what? Prices still went up. And despite the low sales, still only taking we only have about a 3-month supply of existing homes. Patriot Radio News Hour. Gold at melt when we get back. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason wrapping up the week on this Friday. A quick look in. The Dow's up 150. The Nasdaq's up 20. I'm sorry, the S&P's up 20. The Nasdaq's up 100. Gold's up 8. Silver, it's down, but I don't know for how long. Down 10 cents right now at $22.70. The 10-year note keeps going a little, grinding higher here, 4.16 on a 10-year note. As again, this has more to do with what's going on in the auctions. The debt size, the debt loads, is just too much supply in the demand. People are saying, hey, we'll buy it, but we want more VIG, right? We want more interest when we're buying it. And, of course, remember, in another, 12 days, 13 days, got to sell another big Treasury's got to reload their checkbook. This is all about diversity here, right? When you listen, we get it. Everybody, I think, understands. I think everybody out there that actually cares about their finances knows, hey, okay, we got to have a diversity, right? They know they need to have gold and silver. Right? They know it. But for some people, it's like it's out of reach for me right now. People have 401ks, IRAs, right? You got your exposure to the stock market. For those of you that have done a better job, or hey, you made more money in your lifetime, if you got $50,000 or more set aside, check out why refi. You get a 10.25% fixed rate of return. Interest is compounded daily. You can turn your income on. You can turn it off. You can compound it. You can do whatever you want. No fees. I mean, it's awesome. And it's for the greater good. And the best part is it's not correlated to Wall Street. So something where, hey, for a lot of people, they kind of like that. Hey, I like to know what I cringe. I don't like it when I'm afraid to look at my balance on my IRA or my 401k. Check these guys out, investwhyrefi.com, or just call them at 888-YREFI24 and see what it's all about. Just let them know that we sent you. It's a great way to increase that diversification because, as we've been talking about, 2024, there's so many moving parts. I believe we're we're now going to get an extension on these continuing resolutions on the budget deficit. So no deals. Been talk about hey, give us money for Ukraine, give us money for Israel, give us money for Taiwan, right? Give us money for ABCD, and we'll do something at the border. That isn't done either. So, Jason, more kicking the can down the road. But as we said in the program yesterday, March is becoming a very important month, and the bank emergency facility. We've been talking about this and talking about this and talking about it. This facility comes to an end in March. Interesting. Same time now with the continuing resolutions on the budget deficit. The same time they're expecting a possible rate cut. The same time they're expecting the starting of the wind down of quantitative tightening, right? I mean, there's so many things happening in the next 60 days, but a huge jump in the emergency loan facilities. And we've been talking about, it used to be 100, 200, 300 million. Then it went to $1 billion, $2 billion, $4 billion, $8 billion, $14 billion. And now the facility, Jason, it's up to $162 billion. That's more money than the FDIC has. They don't even have $162 billion. This is how much money that the banks have been borrowing. And it looks like every week we get closer to March, that number seems like it's jumping, significantly every week closer we get. Just kind of telling you, hey, the plumbing here isn't very good right now.
No, and I was looking at some models, Joe, as far as interest rates for the average guy versus the Fed funds rate. And I think when the Fed lowers the rates, we say March, April, May, when they start to do it, I think you'll see that 10-year note go up with the federal funds rate going down. And I didn't think that was, that's not the normal thing, but between 1967 and 1982, that happened 3 times where the Fed dropped the rates and your 10-year note went up. The rate to borrow for a car or house went up. And what happened from 67 to 82? That's when the inflation happened.
Right.
I think the government will be happy because the government borrows off the Fed funds rate. They'll be happy. It'll make their borrowing cheaper, but everybody else will not be paying lower rates, Joe.
It's going to be very interesting how this plays out, because remember what also happens in March, the end of the repo facility, right? That reverse repo will be out of money. So it really is. I think that this next 60 days is going to be very interesting how all of this plays out. It's worrisome. It's worrisome that why all of a sudden did we go from, we went all summer long, all fall long, and it go up, like I said, 100 million, 200 million, maybe 500 million here or there. Then all of a sudden, right around December, it was $1 billion. Then it was $2 billion. Then it was $4 billion. Then it was, $6 billion, $8 billion. Now it's $14 billion. And all of a sudden now, they borrowed more money than the FDIC has. And they've still got another, 6-7 weeks? How high is it going to be? Right? How high is this number going to be?
I saw a number, Joe, yesterday. This is yesterday I saw this number. If you were getting paid $500,000 a day, every day, from when the pyramids were built to today, okay? That's $3.5 million a week. You'll only have made half as much money as the U.S. government borrowed since June. Do you hear that?
That's crazy. Since they built the pyramids, right? It really is.
$500,000 a day.
It's hard to conceptualize. It's so much money, right? It really is hard to conceptualize it. And remember, we're about 80 days away from $35 trillion. That's how fast. It does $1 trillion in a non-tax revenue quarter. It's about a quarter, about 90 days, right? About 90 days worth of spending. But like I said before, for those of you, when you buy physical gold and silver. People, the spot price is this, and a spot price, that's a paper contract. A lot of like a miner, they'll sell forward some stuff. Right now, by the way, I should bring this up. Miners are not hedging. Silver miners aren't hedging. Gold miners aren't hedging. They're hedging just enough that, hey, I got to be somewhat financially responsible here, but they're not hedging. In other words, they don't want to sell gold and silver for delivery at the end of 2024 or for delivery in 2025 or 2026 at $2,030. They don't want to sell any gold at that price. They don't want to sell any silver at below $23. They're just unhedging everything, which is another great indicator we don't talk much about. But as you guys know, you can't buy the physical metals for the spot price. Because that's gold, essentially, or silver. That's still in the ground. I mean, that's what it's for. The rest of it now, obviously, most of the contracts traded, they have no intentions of taking delivery, right? They're just playing a game. Hey, I'm just making a bet, right? I'm going to bet. So as an example, the gold contract expires in February. So you've got about 30 days here. And there's guys every day. Every minute. Matter of fact, there was four more contracts just went boom, boom, boom. There's another one, and another one, and another one. Oh, there's another one. That's how fast. I got a live link to Wall Street here. And they're just placing a bet. Hey, do I think gold's going to be higher in 30 days or lower in 30 days? Right? The next contract's April. Then there's June, there's August. You can bet whatever you want. That's what most of it is, just betting. But the ones that actually do it for delivery, like the miners, right? They're saying, hey, I'm going to lock in this price today for delivery down the road. But I have a unique opportunity today. This is on 20 francs. So they are Swiss gold francs and French francs, gold francs.
And the denomination is 20, not 20 actual francs. The 20 franc is the denomination, like a $20 bill.
Correct. The French ones are roosters. The Swiss ones are the Helvetias. They're the same. The melt value is 0.1867 ounces if you melted it down. Right? That's how much gold is in these francs. I've got them on sale today for $385. Right now, silver's 2025. Melt value's $378. Okay, I've got them on sale, $385. If you buy, which by the way, that would be below cost. If you buy 20 or more, $375. So you'll actually be a little bit under melt. I only have 171 of them. When they're gone, they are gone at 800-951-0592. So, yeah, I don't know. This doesn't really happen. Buying the opportunity to buy gold under melt, and both, one of them, you're under cost. You buy 20 or more of them, you're under melt. The 20 francs, they're Swiss and French, $385. If you buy 20 or more, $375 at 800-951-0592. And Jason, this is just value. That's all this is, right? This is, I know, right? It's foreign gold. You don't want to build a portfolio of it, but at this type of value, it's hard to pass up.
Yeah, and let me tell you, gold under melt, how opportunity that is. If you know a guy who dredges a river, has a gold claim, and can pull the gold out of the river or go into a mine, a local, not one of those big miners, those big mine companies are not going to let you go even sniff around there. They'll arrest you for looking at them. But, if a guy comes out, he gets this little gold dust pebble stuff, and he fills up a little vial, right? if you know someone like that and they're really trying to unload gold for cash or a check, sometimes these guys will sell it to you because there might be impurities. They'll sell it to you for under melt. And then you have to go melt it or go take it somewhere else and weigh it. And then there's all the hassle of trying to figure out, how much it's worth, how pure it is. And that's under melt gold. That's one way you can try to figure out how to get it. So these are in coin form. These are already have standard weights and measures. Standard weights and measures. And so you can get this today. Yeah, it's other countries. That's why we're selling it cheap. We know it's not as familiar to Americans as our gold coins, either old or new. And so this is priced exactly where it's supposed to be. Unfamiliar gold, yeah, there's you have a little education there maybe to figure these out, but it doesn't matter. What you need to have is a dependable gold dealer. That's Patriot Trading Group. That's the first thing you need to find, and then you need to buy it at the best price, which today. That's this coins, right, Joe? This is the way you buy it.
Yes, and they're not available online because, again, it's not an item we normally stock, but 20 francs, Swiss and French, $385, 20 or more below melt at $375 at 800-951-0592 when we get back. What you need to know if you get crypto. 800-951-0592. We actually have a line open. I'm surprised that we do. Listen, these are not going to last. This is a ridiculous deal. This is a dumb price, if you will, on these francs here. $385 on a 20 franc. I mean, that's below cost. You can't buy it for that. I can't buy it for that. If you buy 20 or more below melt at $375, that'd be $7,500. $7,500 gets you 20 francs there. Like I said, not quite 2/10 of an ounce. I mean, a 10th ounce gold eagle. What is a 10th ounce gold eagle nowadays here? I gotta look at my cheat sheet. $260 a piece.
Yeah. So
two of those. It's like $520. Now, granted, it's not quite 2/10 here, but $385, $375 at 20 or more. I mean, that's a lot of gold for the money. At 800-951-0592, the IRS, man, these guys. We knew it was just a big lie, right? You did know, right? Oh, no, we're just hiring all these people just because. Yeah. Just think about how much better our customer service can be. Yeah, that's what we all want. We want better customer. What's better customer service? Well, more of our agents will be able to call and harass you. Think how great that's going to be. It's awesome. Well, guess what? They now want you to know that if you receive $10,000 in cryptocurrencies or more, you now must report the transaction information to the IRS. This information needs to include your name, your address, the name and address of the sender, the social security number of yourself and the sender, the amount physically received, as well as the date. Oh, and I love this part. And the nature of the transaction as a new part of the tax reporting obligation, which took effect January 1st. So this will be for next tax season. Anybody that receives more than $10,000 in cryptocurrency, you got to report all this stuff. Right? You got to report all of these things that you may or may not know. Those who, listen to this, fail to report, and this is another important point, You can't wait till the end of the year. Oh, no. If you fail to report within 15 days of any such transaction, you can be charged with a felony offense. A felony. I mean, not even a miss. This rule is self-executing, meaning it is immediately operational and enforceable without further action. So if you receive $10,000 in crypto on January 1st and you haven't reported it yet, you're already in trouble. You're already in trouble. Now, there's a group challenging the rule, arguing the problem is many will find it difficult to comply with what is supposedly a straightforward obligation. They note that blockchain miners who receive block awards above 10,000 don't have they don't know who the sender is. They don't know how to identify the sender. Well, guess what, Jason? I don't think that's going to work anymore.
Yeah, it's a very confusing space to be in. Just be careful. That's all I have to say. Be very careful when it comes to this space. I don't own any Bitcoin, but I'm learning a lot about it, Joe. There's reasons that the IRS are doing this starting next year. Joe and I got some conversations and I learned more because there's so much involved with this. I would highly suggest you don't get into this unless you know what you're doing, because there are so many ways. I've seen so many people lose getting into this space. But if you simply want to protect your savings, this is why we sell gold and silver. You got to put it there. You've already earned it. You've already been taxed on it. You need to put it somewhere so that the inflation doesn't tax it further. Now, investment is investment, and right now, Bitcoin, the way it goes up and down, and these other cryptocurrencies, it's still investment. It's not a place of savings. So if you get into that space, know that you could lose money if you don't know what you're doing. So the safe place for savings is always going to be gold and silver. Cash is just going to be inflated out of your pocket, and the IRS has declared cryptocurrencies as of 2014 to be equities. The IRS looks at them as stock, and they will tax it as such, Joe.
You know what's funny is now it looks like they're trying to say, well, it's stock and cash, right? They have that $10,000 cash rule.
Yes.
Right? But this one is again the ever changing part of it, and that's what what made crypto. What I loved. I love the idea of it. I think it's fantastic. But like Jason says this a lot on the half-empty cup of Joe. It got hijacked. Right? They hijack all these good ideas. Right? Wall Street has hijacked cryptocurrencies, right, and turned it into, well, you know what, now it's the SEC, and look, we want a crypto ETF, and, well, all of a sudden now here comes the IRS. Well, hey, guys, you know what? Anybody, if you get more than 10 grand in a crypto, we're going to put the onus on you.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, if you don't you got 15 days to do it, and if you don't, we're charging you with felonies? I mean, this is, again, control. They have to have it. This is why I said, like Jason said, hey, if you want to throw some money at crypto, awesome. Be prepared, all right? I mean, you can make a lot of money. You can lose a lot of money. All right, well, sure, great. But when it really comes down to it, these central banks, they don't want competition. They don't want competition. Right, and this is one of the things. Why does Jamie Dimon hate it so much? Well, it's competition, right, Jason? They don't want competition. Why do I get the feeling that if we get a central bank digital currency, they'll regulate Bitcoin out of to death, just like they're doing with cash, right? We'll just regulate it out. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour here on this Friday. Gold under melt today, the 20 francs. We still have some available. I'm a little surprised, but I get it, right? Because we don't really sell francs a lot, but it's all about value here. 1 through 19, 385. That put it, below cost. But if you buy 20 or more, 375. That's actually less than the melt value of the gold that's actually in the coin. And you know what's so funny is I just got an email alert over the break from our largest wholesaler in the world. And we were just talking about 10th ounce. How good of a deal this really is, because 2 10th ounces, $520, and this is 0.1867, so it's a little short of 2 tenths, but 385, 20 or more, 375. They just raised the premiums on 10th ounce American Gold Eagles by 67%. Literally just like that. And I told you, everyone, this rush back into the gold markets is upon us. So forget about 260. You're not getting a 10th ounce for 260 anymore. And Jason, unfortunately, what they're saying is the only ones they have right now are 2024s. And to call, and they'll tell you when they'll have more 10th ounce for delivery. So again, when you're looking at fractional gold, I think as we get closer to March, people are going to get nervous. 2024 is going to be a very volatile year. Fractional gold's just going to get more expensive. I just have, that's just seems like how it's going to work, Jason.
Yeah, it's. Get as much gold and silver as you can get your hands on, because I can guarantee you the prices of these things are going to go up because the inflation is going to be stealing from you. So you might as well have your hard-earned, saved money in the place. Gold is so good. I mean, you can buy a house. I believe housing prices. We're not going to have the housing crash in 2008, but houses have upkeep. They have yearly taxes. They have a lot of problems. You can't just, hey man, maybe Colorado isn't. We've lost some customers, at least physically coming into our offices, because they picked up and left Colorado because they don't want to be here anymore. You can't just pick up your house and run like that. You gotta go to James Morgan and then get a real estate agent, get him to sell your house, and there's a process. With your gold and silver, $2 million worth of gold fitting in a shoebox, so to speak, you could just pack up the truck and take the kids and you're gone. It's such a great store of value, Joe. There's so many advantages to gold. It's private in a world that's increasingly not private anymore. And it protects your savings more than anything else will. Gold will do that.
Yeah, and also I forgot to mention rolls of silver dimes at $95, and I've been meaning to do it all week, and I've been forgetting. Brittany just I've got a window here that I can look out at. She put this thing up on the window today. Free shipping for anybody. So I know it's been really cold out there. A lot of you, I don't want to get in my car and do any of those things, or maybe you live out of state or whatever it may be. All day today, free shipping. So, maybe you don't live close to Fort Lupton, or you don't live close to the Deer Valley Air Park. You want to take advantage of this deal. It's a free shipping Friday as well. So that saves you $35 right there. 800-951-0592. We've had the first 2 retailers announce layoffs this morning. Macy's laying off 2,300 people, shutting stores, and Wayfair announcing they're laying off 1,650 people. Pretty good sized layoffs, and not surprising, right? The retail sales number, the headline number looks, the consumer is strong. But when you really factor in inflation, they're actually buying less stuff. It costs them more, but they're getting less stuff, and now the retailers, Jason, I think, starting to feel the squeeze here.
Yeah, the retailers are going to feel it because they depend on, consumers. So if your consumers are not coming in, if they can't afford the ever-increasing prices, Joe, this another of the many sectors. What sector do we expect to be doing better right now, right? I know there's some technologies, things like that. But
the AI sector is still pretty hot.
What news are we going to give you that especially when it comes to anybody having to sell something, which is pretty much any business, is going to be doing better? I don't see anybody. Every time you mention a store closing this and a store raising prices that and layoffs and things of that nature, it's like, well, okay, yep, more of the same. And I think the stuff you've been reporting over the last year or 2 years, Joe, this is just the beginning of it. The big rush is coming. Anyone's been river rafting, it's all calm and nice until you hit the whitewater. We haven't hit the whitewater yet, have we, Joe?
Yeah, that's a good analogy. By the way, I've done that a bunch of times, and it's awesome. I'm now we did it again. My boys, my wife, and I. Like a year and a half, because my brother lives in West Virginia. They got great whitewater rafting in West Virginia. I know they do in Colorado as well. This last one, my wife and I both looked at each other and said, "Yeah, you know what? That's enough. We've hit that point where, okay, I'm 50-something years old. Yeah, I don't need the crap scared out of me and feel like I'm going to die anymore. I'm over it. So you won't be seeing this guy in a whitewater raft anytime soon." By the way, Ford. Apparently the electric truck isn't so electric anymore. I'll tell you about that as we wrap it up. Patriot Radio News Hour. Grab those Franks. 800-951-0592. 800-951-0592. The F-150 Lightning, April 1st. 1,400 employees will disappear. Well, half of them will be transferred to, I guess, the cars that run on gasoline or trucks that run on gasoline. The other half are going to be getting a pink slip, as Ford says they need to match production with sales, which kind of, supply and demand, right, Jason? Hey, if there's not enough demand, we're going to have to cut the supply, and I don't think this cold streak probably didn't help, right? All these reports of people not being able to charge their cars probably didn't help very much on the electrical vehicle front.
No, and I don't know a lot about electrical cars, as how they run, how dependable they are in cold weather. But I've had a couple of people telling me that when it gets really cold, it's just not good to be in an electric car because several factors. Once the snow comes down here in Colorado, for instance, the roads get a little slushy, they get icy, you're spinning your wheels more. All that uneven road and spinning, I guess, really wears that battery down quicker than a nice surface that's flat and easily accessible. So, from what I understand, Colorado's, even though there's a lot of electric cars around here, it's not optimal. Let's just say that. If someone gave me an electric car, I'd use it, Joe. But I just, if I have to choose my next car is going to be a gas car because it's just the electric cars aren't ready. They're just not ready. They're not ready, and I don't pay for things that I have to go through a lot of time and energy and pain to deal with. People just like the idea that they think they're saving the world, Joe. Stop trying to save the world and just save your corner of the world. How's that?
Well, Arizona here, we don't have a lot of the issues that other places do. I've got a bunch of friends, at least half a dozen of them, that have a Tesla. They all have Teslas. They all enjoy them. They like not having to gas up. Like I said, only one of them, he's a big, he's like, I don't worry, I'll take it anywhere because it'll tell me where the charging stations are, and he doesn't mind doing that. The rest of them, they don't leave the city, right? Hey, it's just for, around town, right? That's I'd be a perfect candidate for an electric car because I essentially drive my car to work and home. Work at home, work at home, work at home. I'm a crappy driver. When me and my wife are together, my wife drives, Would I take it to California? No. I don't even, I wouldn't, right? But, around town. And I think it just depends on how much the power is. How much do I like it? In the summertime, I don't know if I would like it. Power bills here in Arizona, depending on the size of the house, you can pay $500, $600, $700 easy running that AC. Now you got to plug a car in on top of it. It's going to be interesting. I think the price of power. We talked about this on the Half Empty Cup yesterday. All of the energy executives and the oil executives, they're saying wait till 2025. In 2025, things are going to get a lot worse. Expect shortages, expect much higher oil prices, expect much higher energy prices. Even with this cold snap, we had like half the states in the country kind of warn people about their power. Hey, try not to use your power too much because, well, we may not have enough. I don't know, Jason, and this AI stuff, all the data warehousing, the crypto, that's all power. It's all power. 20 francs. Below melt, $3.85, 20 or more, $3.75. Rolls of silver dimes at $95. 800-951-0592. God bless everybody. Listen, Jason and I, we're coming right back with the Half Empty